Sure. Let me try to put it this way. Okay, so I think let's start this session because I mean it's already 11:35 p.m. for me and in Singapore, and I think 9:05 for you guys in India, and others who joined from US or other places like in the morning. So hi everyone, this is Mritunjay, and today we are going to cover one of the topic on Alibaba Cloud object storage service. And well, yeah, to start with this session, I think someone is just joined. Can I request to put you on mute?
Yeah, I'm muted.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Anjani. Yeah. So, yeah, so sorry guys. Yeah, please put yourself on mute if you are not speaking. And later in the Q&A session, maybe, we'll cover whatever questions you ask. Okay, so let's start this session today. So I just want to read one quote from one of the person, Steve Jobs. I think we all know nowadays because Apple is everywhere. So he's saying, I don't need a hard disk in my computer if I can get to server faster. So nowadays, if you see clouds, right, and the speed of internet, like 4G and 5G is coming. So the speed is so much, storage is unlimited. So why you need the hard disk in your computer? So that's a good quote I would start with. So let's start today's session. Okay. Before moving to the agenda, I would like to talk about Multicloud4u. So who are we and why we are doing this session? So Multicloud, as we know that it's a group of people who have covering the data science, AI, blockchain, and we are doing extreme engineering. And then it has the technology practitioners, there's all the technology leaders. They are talking. People are coming. They are sharing their expertise and their experience and yeah, and we are just sharing the experience and building a group of engineers, I would say, or and sharing the knowledge, and also ask people to share their knowledge as well. Okay, moving to the next one. So this session is live streaming, and you can get your certificate by going to the 5thir.com. And if you have any queries, then you can join this Telegram channel of Multicloud4u, and there you can your queries is answered. All the streams about the future sessions and everything are listed here, and the certificates I'll also later how to get the certificate. So your certificate you can get it from here. You have to go to Fifth IR and then request for the certificates. There's another feature. I think we are evolving day by day. The multi-cloud for you is evolving, and 5thir.com you can go and you can even see the past session, and then you can claim your certificate. If you have any questions, then you can raise to the Telegram channel, and your questions is answered. As you say, it's you can RSVP to the past session or replay to the past session and RSVP to this event or upcoming event on the 5thir.com itself. Moving to the today topic, which we are covering. As I mentioned here, it's a deep dive on Alibaba Cloud Object Storage Service. So it's basically We are going to talk about object storage service and a little bit more deeper, like a little bit more granular features. What are the it's available? We will create and we will do some hands dirty, and then we'll see how it works. Yeah. About me, I am Mritunjay, and I am based out of Singapore, and I'm AWS Cloud certified and a data architect. I work for a bank, and then I have many years of direct IT and banking industry experience. And if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to my LinkedIn channel. Yeah, like my LinkedIn link. You can connect me anytime and can chat or talk or ask questions, anything if you require. I would like to also share about Anjani. So Anjani is the founder of Multicloud4u, and he is a enabler, leader, mentor, and he is a principal architect of Multicloud4u as well. And he comes with experience in the very renowned company like Publicis, RBS, Microsoft. You can reach out to you can connect with Anjani on his LinkedIn profile. There's a little bit 1 minute I would like to cover about this instructions for the session. So all the audience are put on mute for convenience to everyone. All questions will be answered at the end of the sessions, or we'll try to answer all questions in the sessions, Q&A rounds, or in between if I get any a chance to speak. And then you can type your questions anytime in the chat window, and then we will cover at end of the sessions. And or maybe at end of the session you can open up your mic and then you can speak, but one at a time. Okay, so let's go on the agenda for today. So today we are just going to cover what is OSS. So what is object storage service? What is the type of object storage service provided by Alibaba Cloud? Then some of the basic concepts and key terminology, I would like to touch upon that. And a few use case scenario, I would not say all, but I would say just few use case scenario. And also try to compare with the traditional file systems because we already have the file systems. Then some of the data security concepts, we're going to cover about that. And of course, we are going to do some of the demo on the buckets and what are the advanced features of OSS. And at the end of the sessions, we are going to talk on the Q&A, right? So feel free to ask any questions anytime in the chat window, and then we'll try to answer as much as possible. Yeah. Moving ahead, let's talk about object storage service. So this is a secure, cost-effective, and highly reliable cloud storage service provided by Alibaba Cloud. So as I just wanted to make one sentence here. So all the clouds, they have their own storage because cloud comes with unlimited storage. So Alibaba Cloud has something called object storage. How it is different from file storage, we'll talk on in future slides. But this is something called that cost effective. So that there's cost effective, secure, reliable. So these are the keywords. If I can take it from here, then it enables you to store large amount of data in the cloud. So so there's no limit of data, like you can store as much as possible. Then it supports durability of at least 12 nines, so 99.999 something, like it's a 12 nines, and availability of at least 99.995%. So that's a lot, almost I would say 100%, but I cannot say 100%. OSS supports RESTful API operations that are independent of console. So there you can access your files by a two-way. Either you can log into the console, Alibaba Cloud Console, and then you can access your files, or you can use the API or JDK, SDK to integrate, not JDK, sorry. I mean, whichever language you are using, you can use your SDK to connect directly to OSS, and then you can you can use the file or do whatever operation you want. We can store and access any type of data anytime, anywhere, and from any application. So this is what something, a high level of the OSS service about. Moving about the benefits, what is the benefits of using OSS? So it's a very easy of use. So, it's a very easy, like, we can just create out. So, how in the later when we will go demo, it's very easy to create the bucket and folders and all those things. So it's very easy to use also. Simple to use with easy management, integrated with comprehensive extracts, transformation, and load. So ETL service. So it has ETL service as well. And there are so many other services integrated. So this is there. High reliability, as we talk about, because it's talking about almost 900% reliability. So it has multiple backups for data redundancy. So we'll talk about data redundancy as well, how it is going to help us. So I mean, according to Alibaba Cloud, it's a similar to, like, and it's a similar concept. If I go to AWS, then it has S3 as well. So it has a kind of, redundancy capacity where, like, they replicate the same content more than one regions, or more than one availability zones. So or facility, I would say, like, so it can be available and almost 100%. Cost effective. So it has the lower total cost of ownership. What is cost of ownership comes is like, it's a it's like, it's a large scale of a storage they buy together. So they say it's a very cheap. Then we have cross region replication. So this is a very good feature I would talk about. And remote disaster recovery, and they have written disaster recovery as well. Powerful security measures, and then they have a multiple access control measures and fine grain authorizations. So you have multiple layer of security where you can define that, okay, whether you want to access that bucket or that particular object, and that kind of security there. And then in addition to that, we have data encryption and protection of the servers and clients. So we have the server encryption, server-side encryption, as well as client-side encryption as well. Okay, so this is some of the benefits we talk about OSS. Let's moving on to, I'm talking about a storage type. So there are, on a high level, we have 4 types of storage, where, like, a standard, and then infrequent access, then archive, and cold archive. And these all are coming up with a different type of storage for a different kind of, scenario. So let's talk on a standard storage. So and I would say, like, these all are different pricing as well. I'll see if I can cover on pricing part, or otherwise I'll just pass you the reference link where you can go and read about the pricing, why it is different. But let me cover that a couple of features on that. So as we say, a standard, this is a very default one, or main storage service, which is high performance, highly reliable, and highly available OSS instance. So this is something where, you have a couple of replications, then highly reliable. Because highly reliable, then it's a highly available. So it is replicated near you. So yeah, so it's a costly as well. Features applicable to service scenario characterized by high throughputs, hot files, and frequent access. So if you have a use case where, like, you want to access the file daily, or very frequently, then you need to use this as standard storage. Durability wise, it has a 11.9, and there is another durability, like, so there are 2 things called LRS and ZRS. I think the LRS is for local replication, and ZRS is kind of, all it's I think The full form is something, but it's I think it's a cross region replication where like it's another availability facility. So the difference between these two is in LRS it's a single facility, and this is replicated in another machines, like two different machines. But in JRS it's altogether a different facility, so that's why it's a little bit different on the reliability, durability. Then we have a minimum storage period. There's none, so you can store as much as possible like today, and then you can just remove tomorrow. Application scenarios like mobile applications, large websites, picture sharings, and popular audio or video. These are the few of the scenarios where you want to use this storage. Then comes to infrequent access. So as we say, it's like a infrequent access. This is something where you want the data to be stored, but not frequently accessed. Like you don't want real time, or or kind of very frequently access. So there it comes this one, but it has the minimum storage period of 30 days. And application scenarios, again, it's a similar kind of scenarios where like mobile devices, applications backups, enterprise data, monitoring data, and online storage applications. So this is pretty much a kind of similar kind of storage, but with the two different use case where like you want frequent or you want not frequent. Then when it comes to the archive size, so we have two different kind of archives, like we have archive and we have cold archive. So as we know that
Mritunjay, can you hear me?
yeah, yeah,
We have
yes,
sent you the speaker code.
yeah, I got it. I got it, Anjali. Yeah, thank you, thank you, Anjali. Yeah, I'll use that later. Yeah, so we have archive and cold archive. So our archive type is like this basically used for the archive purpose, where like you want the long-term storage, but minimum storage period is 60 days and long-term archive data storage. So this is something called medical imaging or video materials where you want to keep it, but it's not used frequently, right? So that is here. And then we have cold archive, which is like, you want some kind of data, which is like, keep it for like 7 years or 10 years or 5 years, all those kind of, data. So the minimum storage period is 180 days. And a long-term archive, like there's some of the case, like if I talk about banks, then there's some of the data or files you want, the customer data you want to store for 7 years because of the regulatory requirement. So where you want to store in the cold archive because this is very cheaper version of the storage. I'm not mentioning cost here, but as it go from top to down, the cost becomes cheaper, and if you go bottom to up, then it's become costlier. Okay, moving a little bit. This is the same kind of same thing I covered in a matrix format, where I try to mention a little bit data durability. I try to compare between all this. Then service availability, it's almost, so if you see the standard here, like this is 99.9%, but if you see Jira is like 99.995%. There's a little bit if you go to infrequent access, then service availability, so this is 99.99%, but if you go to the infrequent access, it's 99% only, or this is like 99.5% only. So it's as it become cheaper, it may be availability wise or durability wise, it's a little bit less. Then we have minimum storage period. Then we have data retrieval fee. That's where it is coming. So if it has a frequent access, then if you see it, we are using a standard, both version of the standard access. Then we don't have any data retrieval fee. But if you go to infrequent access, then there's a retrieval fee as well per unit per GB, right? So if you are downloading the files, then you are paying for that as well. So by a storage is cheaper, but download fee you are paying. So that's where you have to decide, like, which type of storage you want based on your use case. Okay. And then again, going to archive and cold archive, it has the as well, like it has the retrieval fee as well. Data access is, this is a real time almost, these two. This is, but if you go to this one, like, cold archive, then you have to prioritize, like, high priority item you can access within 1 hour. A standard is 2 to 5 hours. So if you request for some data, you will get after 5 hours. And if you want some bulk data, then 5 to 12 hours. So this is something which is you want. Image is like, this is supported. Almost all the storages support how to store the image. Then you have scenarios, right? Like you can talk about, like, what are the scenarios we are using this. I think I already covered, so I'm just moving it forward. The few basic concepts and keywords I would like to talk about here. So if you see object storage service, there are a few keywords you maybe, go, I'll go inside and then you'll find few of the keywords we are using. Something I'll talk first is bucket. So what is bucket? So bucket, if I understand as, like, it's something called, so when I create a bucket, it will just allocate me a storage space. That space can have objects, okay? And that bucket is created in a region, particular region. And what is region? I think if we are from a little bit background on the cloud side, then you must know that region is kind of, where, like, facility, or I would say, like, let's say China has multiple regions, Singapore has regions. I'll log in and then I'll show you how to see the regions. So in the region, I'll create a bucket, and then buckets has multiple objects. Then each region has endpoints, and then you can pass the access key if you want to access via API, and then you have a strong consistency, because when you are storing the data, uh, it's a strongly consistent. I'll talk about that. So before moving, I'll try to mention a couple of things about buckets. So all objects directly you stored, it is in the buckets. One user can have multiple buckets. Okay. A bucket names must be unique globally. So bucket name cannot be duplicated. So let's say if I am uh, writing a bucket called demo, and you try to create a same bucket called demo, it will not allow you. It should be globally unique. So that's not like, one company wise, it's like globally unique. And bucket can contain unlimited objects, and that's why, like, they say that you can store unlimited data. Okay. And when it comes to bucket names, it minimum contains 3 letters, and it is to be lowercase and the hyphens only. Okay. So this is something on the bucket. Then yeah, we'll talk about objects. Objects is something which is like having metadata, data, and key. Then objects can be of, the object names should be like 1 byte, minimum one character, and maximum is like 123 characters. Regions, I think I talk about. Endpoints, we talk about. Access key, I already mentioned about. Okay, so let's moving on to some of the use cases. So what is the use case of object storage service? So the first use case I can think of is like massive scale of storage for image and audio video applications. Actually, if I talk about, like, past few slides, then what we saw is like the example is image, audio, video. It's very frequent, because this is something where, like, we can't anticipate the storage. Like, today, let's say we are developing a social media platform. So if you see, like, I think we all are using maybe Facebook, LinkedIn, or any other social media. So if you see the volume of data it's coming, or image or video or audio is coming and uploading, it's you cannot, like, plan for that. So that's where you need the kind of unlimited storage, and that's where it comes to the object storage service. So if you see here in this, like, you directly network camera is uploading the data to object storage service, and then we have ECS instance, which is taking the data from there, and then we have authentication service as well, and then we have CDN connected. So this is something, and we have a video transcoding happening here. So these all are service connected to that. So this is a good example of that, like, our use case of that, where like we require maximum amount of like image, audio, or video we want to store. Another is like we have a static and dynamic resource separations for web pages and apps. So there's some of the features like where like we are writing a web page or web applications where we want a static data and we want dynamic data. So dynamic data, if you see, like, it's a totally different. So dynamic data is going to come from the server. It requires some of the server processing, web programs, database, or whatever, and then it's going to return. However, the static files, I would say, like, it's just a HTML file. It can be stored and returned from here. So it can be one of the use case where like you could directly store here, which do not require the user to go to the servers. Okay. The another example or use case scenario could be the media file processing in the cloud. So we just store the data and image processing. So what is this image processing and media processing? So let me just take an example. So let's say we are uploading I have a e-commerce website where I'm uploading an image, right? So what I need is like if you go and see, or social media or any kind of platform you'll go and see, then you need the image in different formats. Like you need thumbnail, you need the medium size, or you need a big size, right? So those all different size. So we are uploading one size, but it's processed within the OSS, and then it's stored in a different small format. So later it can be used based on the requirement. And the same goes for the media processing, like, video transcoding when it goes to, like, if you talk about the Netflix or any other kind of, video processing or Vimeo, then they have, we are watching in the mobile, we are watching in the tablet, we are watching on the TV. So it has all a different uh, resolutions and the sizes. So that's where this processing comes in picture. Yeah. So this is one of the use case. Okay. The as I mentioned, let's talk about a little bit on the OSS, like object storage service and file systems. The traditional file system which we have, like, if I go to my laptop, then I can create folders, then I create files and all. So I just wanted to talk a little bit on that, and then maybe we'll move ahead. So if I talk about data model, so it's a distributed object storage service that use a key value pair format. So what is this value is like, key. So key, whatever files we are storing, file or folder, it's just take the key and then value, and then store as a key value pair. The file system is hierarchical. However, if I go to traditional file system, it's a hierarchical data structure where, like, have directories that contains files and folders, and that contains another. So it has, like, hierarchy of that. Data retrieval, how we can retrieve the data. So objects are retrieved based on unique object names, which is key. Like, that's where I think we said that the statement, if you remember, I mentioned that bucket name should be globally unique, because whatever you are uploading to the object storage service is taking that bucket name slash your file name as a key. So that's where it's defined unique key. And that's where we can, retrieve the files. And if I talk about traditional file systems, it is retrieved based on the locations in directories. What is the advantage? Advantage is like it supports massive concurrent access, which means large volume of unstructured data. So this is a good example, like, unstructured data such as image, video, or documents can be stored and retrieved without excessive use of resources. Folder operations such as renaming, moving, deleting directories are quite easy because data not need to be copied. Okay, so there are two different use cases. Like, here, like in object storage service, we can retrieval is faster, but the rename is not faster because rename requires whole key to be changed. And in these file systems, we can rename easily. Disadvantage that data stored cannot be modified directly. If you want to modify an object, you have to upload again. So there's no way you can just go and open and modify it. However, this can be modified. Okay. Uh, Let me talk about a little bit on data security. And then after that, we will go to the demo. So this is my last slide from the presentations. I have not created many slides because it's good to have login and do the things practically. So I'll talk about data security. So data security has four kind of a major area where we can think of. One is access and control. So access controls can be managed at three different levels. So we have access control list, which is in the Alibaba Cloud, where we can define ACL, like our access control list, based on the resources or buckets or objects, and we can define that access based on that. Then we have RAM policy. I think RAM, if you know about that, resource access management, this is one of the service from Alibaba Cloud. It's a similar like IAM in the AWS, if I'm not wrong. It's a service provided by Alibaba Cloud for resource access control. And this is configured based on the user, or by configuring RAM policy, you can manage multiple users in a. So this is basically we can create a group, and then in the group we can add multiple users, and based on that we can control. So this is something based on the group. Then we have bucket policy. So we can apply something on bucket, and bucket can be based on resources. Okay, and this is kind of, bucket policy can be directly configured on the GUI, or like, bucket policy we can define in console. I will show you how to define the bucket policy. I'll show you when we will go to the practical. Then disaster recovery. So disaster recovery, we have zone redundant storage. I think that is the ZRS I was talking about earlier, where like we are storing in ZRS. So ZRS is like OSS use multiple zone mechanism to distribute user data across. So that's what I was talking about, that it's storing the data in multiple zones. So if let's say one zone becomes unavailable because of XYZ reason, then another zone, the data can be accessed to another zone. And that's why it's saying 99.12 nines or 0.109% the data is available, because even they were talking about one zone to be unavailable. Then we have CRR, which is very good feature I would talk about, like this one. We'll see in practical how we can do that. Cross-region replication. So let's say I'm sitting in Singapore, you are sitting in India, and then I would create some files here in Singapore, and it will automatically replicate within seconds in India. And let's say if something gone down, like Singapore region itself collapse, or everything happened, like, that data center, everything gone, and still you can access the files from India. So that's where this comes in picture. The other example is like, if let's say I have a website where like I have users in India and I have users in Singapore, so I want to replicate it. So India users can use from India, and Singapore users can use from Singapore. China users can use from China. So this is another good example of this. Near real time. It's almost near real time. we will see in practical how fast it is getting created. Then in the encryption side, as I mentioned, we have server-side encryption where like you can just enable and there's a KMS service. It will take care of it. So when you will upload the data, Alibaba Cloud automatically encrypt it and store, and then we will download it. It will decrypt and get it downloaded. Then another has like client-side encryptions where in this the only difference is like you have to encrypt by yourself. So it's a client means like we have to manage our encryption. Then another thing is like versioning. So we have configurations where like we can enable versioning. So by enabling versioning, it's something where like your version is maintained. All of the data version is maintained. So I think these are the few data security features have. Let's move on to demo. So before demo, I would like to show a couple of things here is like if you want, you can just go ahead with this OSS learning path. You can just go ahead and read about the benefits, scenarios, concepts, and other things. How is OSS built? I think there are a lot of documentations you can go through. You have pricing, then you have overview of this, then wait a minute. There's something called billing details. So billing is based on 40 GB or 6 month, how much you are paying. Then it has all the details of the region based as well as global. So you can just this is the global details, and this is the it's a standard storage price is different, and then if you go to infrequent access, it's a different. But minimum 1 month required, and then extended storage, I don't think 1 month required. So these are the few things you can go ahead, and then you have pricing, then you have documentations, you can read about it, and you have whole learning path like get started with OSS, then you have developer resource, and then other tools, and then FAQs. So it has a lot of other things you can just go ahead. If you talk about this pricing, which I mentioned, so there's a standard storage plan, which is for LRS, and then a standard, yeah. So if I select this, then if you see this price here is different, and if I select infrequent access, it's still calculating, I think. Okay, let me log in it. Okay, so it's a 0.99, and I have a 6 month, then 1 year, and these all durations I can select. And then I go to the infrequent access, then I have 1 month and minimum 1 month selections, and then I have 6 months. So if you can just play around different areas and different it's like different sizes, and you can take a. But the good part is like I would suggest, like if you're not using it, then you just delete your stuff. But if you want, you can just purchase some plan and then you can store. As I think this is the lowest one, 0.99. So $1 around for 40 GB for 6 months. This is something plan is there. Okay. So I think let me just go to the console and let me. If you have any questions, you can just type in the chat window. And yeah, so let me. So this is Alibaba Cloud Console, and I think let's start on because we are already running, I think, sort of time. So let me just go ahead and talk about this. So I just go to the services, and here you can see it's object storage service. It's just coming under, it's a, one of the part of the storage. So I'll just click on object storage service, and then it will open my settings. So now object storage service, it has the options called buckets. Okay. So I click on buckets, and if you see, I don't have any buckets now, right? So I can go ahead and then maybe I'll just create a bucket. So, and then here, if you see here, it's saying notes a storage class and region cannot be changed after bucket created. So make sure that you are selecting the right region and right storage class before creating the bucket, because this cannot be changed. So you have to delete your bucket and then you have to create again. So let me put my bucket name as demo. And as you see that the bucket already exists or it is used by another user, because this is a very common bucket, right? If I put demo 123, let's see, this is another use. So that's where you can see that it is used. So let me put my something called mg demo. Okay, I just put mg demo, or maybe I just put here mg dash demo. I can put, but as soon as I put M capital letter, it will not allow, because this is something called, it's just a small case. This is a small little things, but you can just play around that. In terms of region, here you can select the region, whatever region you want to create. So I'm just selecting my region, which is near to me. It's Singapore. And the endpoint is this. So if as soon as you select the region, your endpoints change. So if I select Australia, this is Southeast Asia 2. And if I select Singapore, this is Southeast Asia 1. If I select Japan, this is Northeast Asia 1. So based on your region, your endpoints will change. So each region has one endpoints. Okay. Then you can select the storage type. We can select a standard, IA, or archive. It has all the details. Long-term storage. For the timing, I'm selecting the standard. Then zone redundant storage. So ZRS is something you enable or disable. So it has two types. So zone redundant storage cannot be disabled after enable. So if I enable it here, then it will not be disabled. So I can select the option here. Okay. So for the time being, I'm not enabling it. Versioning is same, like, let's create with the default options here. ACL, so access control list is private, public read, or public read, right? So we can select. I'm just for the timing, I'm just taking all the default and I'm just creating, then we will play around that. Okay. So encryption method, okay, let's keep it all okay, and then I'm creating. Okay. And then if you see my mg demo here, it's created. So I have a bucket which I can access using this endpoint. So this is the bucket domain name. By default, it's created the internal domain name, and I can go and access this. So if I'll go here, let me, and this is saying access denied. An anonymous user has no right to access because my bucket is not accessible. Wait a minute. Let me just do one thing first. I need to, I think, open in another window because it's hard to navigate it because of the recording is popping down. Okay, so if you see, it's not accessible. Why? Let me go back and see. So if I go back here, sorry, if I go my object storage service, then this is my bucket, right? And access control is, if I go to access control list, it's private. So if it is private, I cannot access from outside. So I make it public, continue. It has a, and then save. Okay. I just make public read. Now if I go and access this bucket, uh, wait a minute. This is not applicable. Why it's, The bucket URL, okay. The bucket you access does not belong to you. Okay. Bucket policy. Okay, so there is something called bucket policy is also applying on top of that. So this is the first level of security, then the second level, the third level. So these three things are apply. So although I make it here public, but it is not allowed me because bucket policy was blank. So I just created a bucket policy here, read only, allow to everyone, and then it is allowed me to access that bucket. Now let's go ahead and let me just add something to the bucket. So I can add files. So I can just create a folder. Let's say I can create a folder here, maybe public, and maybe I'll just upload one file. I'll just take a file, go to here. Maybe I'm just putting a test file here. It has the test, and if you see, it's uploaded. Okay, and if I'll go to view details, so I can see the files here, right? You see that copy URL, and then I can access from here. Yeah, so this is my test file. But um, okay, so there's something called here. See, so this is nothing but an object. Okay, so this is an object inside a bucket, and I can go ahead and then I can create this. I can set the storage class is already set because it's inherited from the bucket. Server side encryption is also inherited, and this is something called file ACL. Uh, this has an option like if it has like inherited from the bucket, or you have private or you have public. So if I make it private and if I make it okay, then I cannot access it. If you go and wait a minute, set ACL private. Okay, copy URL. So this is something which is applied. Okay, still the bucket policy is applying. Okay. Okay, then there is something, another thing called it's here the set soft link. So if I want to create a link or kind of copy, I can create a soft link. So I can just say here test file, and this file is accessible from there. So I just created this file, and I can access this file directly via this link. So even sorry, it's popping out. Yeah, so I can access the file from here also. So this is another way to access the file. Okay, I think there is a bucket policy. Okay, let me just delete it. Okay, now this access is not because I have deleted that. Okay, so now it was coming because of the bucket policy. Because if you see the bucket policy, I have allowed everyone to access everything in the bucket. But now what I did is like, if you see these two things, it is calling same part, but one of my, let me just copy to a notepad here. This my link. If you see this link, I'm passing my access key here. And that's where it is allowing me to access this file. Okay. But my another key is just passing. This is a public key, public link. Okay. And this is not allowing me to access the same thing, same content. If I just access by this file name, it will not allow me to access because this file is not accessible. If I'll just allow, it will not allow me. It's access denied. So this is something where like you have to see that, okay, this is access control list, although it's a public, but it's not allowing. Then on top of that, we will apply the bucket policy. And then on top of that, we have to apply this RAM console access. Yeah. So this is something where like, you have 3 level of security you can define. Okay, the another things I would like to show here is cross replication, cross region replication. So this is the one thing which I want to show you because I think we don't have too much time to cover a lot of things. I would say, but there's so many other things like hot link protection, cross origin resource sharing. This is something which we can configure because this comes in picture if like my fifthir.com is trying to call a page from multicloud4u.com because both are origin different. So then we need to set up this one. Okay, but I'm just going to cover this part like where this there is something called cross region replication. So we have to enable cross region replication. For that, I have source bucket is here, right? But there is no destination region. If I select here, let's say I select Malaysia, but I don't have a bucket created. So let me just create a bucket first and then we'll enable it. Okay. So I'm just creating another bucket here, replication. Okay. And I just say mg demo r. This is replication. Okay. Then I'm selecting the, maybe I'll select India. Okay. I'm selecting Mumbai. Then it should be same class for the replication. If I select another one, it will not allow me to replicate. So also both. Then versioning should be enable or disable. Like, it should be same settings. Everything should be same. Then it will only allow you to replicate. Let me try to enable it first and then show you. And then I'll press OK. Okay. Then I'll go back here. Then I'm just going to my original bucket. Then I'm just going to cross region replication enable. I select the India. Where is India? India, Mumbai. Okay. And then I'll select, okay. I don't have OK option here because both are not same. It's saying because one is versioning enabled, another is versioning not enabled. The versioning status of the source and destination buckets must be same. This is something where it is saying that it must be same. Okay. So I have to go back and I have to change the versioning status for that. That we can do from here. I can go here, reset versioning configured. I can suspend. Okay, but versioning once enabled, it cannot be disabled. I think it's suspended. Okay, so this is another thing which we need to take care of it. Okay, I'm not sure if it's still, I don't think it will still allow because still the versioning is different. Okay, let me try one more time. Okay, still versioning is not same because there are two different things. So versioning is unversioned and then other one which we created is suspended. So once the versioning enabled, then it cannot be changed. So let me create another one and I will show you what is the benefit of versioning also. So, okay, I have again selected a region called India here and I'll keep everything as it is and then I'll hit OK. Okay. and then I'll go back to my original bucket. Then I'm selecting the versioning, sorry, cross-region replication. I'll enable it, selecting India, and then see it's like MG demo one is coming. If I select another one, this OK button is disabled. If I select demo one, it's coming. Okay, I'll select OK. It is taking some around 3 minutes, approximately it will take 3 minutes, and then after that it will work. Meanwhile, what we can do is like maybe we can try to use this versioning and then we'll try to add few things. So let me just go to this is my versioning one. I'm just uploading a file, same file. Let me just upload a test file and I uploaded. So if I go and access this, let me make it this one as public read. Okay. Now if I go back, and I think it should be, this is another bucket. This is not the same bucket. So this is test file. Okay. Now what I do is, I go back to my test file. This is test file, and I am changing. This is test file version 1. Okay, I change this one. I change the content, but I cannot change the content from here. I don't have anything which is saying that I can enabled or something, right? But I can just go and upload again, same file. Okay, so now if I access this, okay, so the thing is happening is like, every time you upload the file, it automatically take the settings, basic default settings. Okay, or default settings, I would say default settings is coming from the bucket. Whatever the bucket settings, it's inheriting. So again, I have to go and change this. So if you saw earlier, I have make it public read. So now I can go and access this. And this is saying this is test file version 1. Okay, let me go back and see that whether my, let me just create a duplicate, sorry. I'm just creating a duplicate window so I can go back to another bucket and see that whether my replication is enabled. So I'll show you how replication works also. Cross region replication. Oh, it's still enabling. It will take some time. Okay, another couple of parts I would like to highlight here is like while doing the documentation is like if you have a big file like 5 GB and above, then you have to use the multi-parts upload. And yeah, so that is there. Then if you are defining the life cycle, then you have to create rules. You can create your rules. So what is the rules is like, after, so a life cycle is something which is very like, after, let's say you are saying that expiration date or cleanup date, delete marker or period, like, I want like there's whatever the files I can say, like, starting with str or something, or starting with test, whatever files I want after 60 days or 2 days or 3 days, like, after 1 day, it moved to infrequent access. Then after 180 days, it moved to archive access. And then after 250 days or 750 days, it will delete, right? So this kind of, configuration I can make. Okay. Previous version, what happened to the previous version? So this is the for the current version. But what happened to the previous version? Previous version, if you want, you move to archive, or you want to delete, you can delete also. So you can just kind of do all the kind of settings here. So this is something called this is something called life cycle. So if I apply anything, then it will be there. Then you have bucket tagging, like you can go and tag your bucket. Like it's a simple tagging, like you just resource tagging. Then you have event notification, pay by requester, bucket inventory, and delete bucket, where like you can delete your bucket. This we already talk about, cross-region replication, versioning. And then you have something called domain names and transfer acceleration. So domain names, if you have any domain, you can just bind it. And you can directly access this bucket as your static website actually. And transfer acceleration is something which use is like if you have some big file or you want to upload very fast, then you need to use this one, this service. Then you have image processing service. Like you can define some of the rules here, like you want to create thumbnail or what kind of format it is. Then what is the brightness, all the rules you can define here. And if you are uploading any image, then it will apply that automatically. Okay, so these are the few things. Let me just go back and check my cross-region replication. This is still enabling. Let me refresh it. Yeah, so it's enable now, cross-region replication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to so to start with, I think this is the last part. Okay, so if I go to demo one, I don't have any files. I don't have any files, right? If you see, I don't have any files. Now I go to buckets demo, and I'm here. It has few files and folders, right? I just create a. I'm just uploading another file, which is we have something called this OSS.png, and let me upload it. So it has uploaded here. So this is make it make just see here. This is Southeast Asia one, right? So this link is my Southeast Asia one. I can access this PNG here. And now going back to another screen, this is my another bucket. Let me just refresh it here. Still not replicated. Oh, no, sorry. This is another one. This is not the correct bucket. Let me go here and see the files. And if you see, it's already here. Okay, and then it has, okay, now the difference between this one and that one, like, so if you see the, sorry, if you see original bucket, sorry, let me go back to here. So if you see that files and if you see the original one, right? So if you see this one, this has the public access. I mean, how you find that it is public access, because there is no key here. If I just copy the URL, it has no key, and I can just copy and directly, because my ACL is inherited from the bucket. And if I go here, like the bucket ACL is I set it public. That's why it's a public access. But if you go to other place, although it's a cross-region replication, so it is copied there, but it's a private access because this bucket has no public access. So if I have to access the same thing, then if you see here, AP South 1, like, this is another URL, and then I can go and access from here. Bypass, sorry. I can copy URL simply, I think it's better. And this is the same image, right? So this is how cross-region replication works. So it just replicate to another region. Okay. So I think so far we covered almost all the features which I was talking about, like cross-region replication, versioning, uh, buckets, and now if I want simply delete bucket, because let me just delete it also, because I think we are done, almost done. Then if I go and delete this bucket, then what it will do is like it will not allow me to delete because I already have something in this bucket. So I have to go back and then I have to delete the file first. Okay, I can go here and delete it. And then I can go and delete my bucket. Okay, it looks like there's something there. What is there? Okay, I think I created some rules. Yeah, so before deleting the bucket, we need to, we need to delete all the other settings as well. So that's another thing. But anyway, I'll take a look in this one and then I'll delete it. Okay. So I think we have covered almost all the points. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. I'll open up because we have already, I think, more than an hour. So yeah, go ahead and ask your questions, and otherwise I'll announce the speaker code for certificate. So if no questions, I don't know. I can't see the chat window. Actually, let me open the chat window. Okay, so far I cannot see anything. So if you guys, okay, if no questions, then I would directly ask you to just go ahead and open that www.fifthir.com. Okay, then you put your name here. Sorry. Yeah, you put your name, like my name is like Mritunjay Garg. You put your name, you put your phone number, like I'm just putting anything, any number here, and put your uh, put your email ID. Okay. Okay, this is wrong email. So let me put this. Okay. Put your name, then mobile number, then email ID, then press next, and then you have to put the code. Anjani, can we announce code? Can I announce? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the code is ABCG. So it's Alibaba Cloud ABC and G for gold. So Alibaba Cloud Gold ABCG. Okay. So and all capital letters. You just put all capital letters, then press next, and then press submit. I'm not submitting. Okay, but you can just submit. So if you have
And
any, yeah,
yeah,
good.
and adding to that, obviously, I would request everyone to join the Telegram channel. You can ping the link. And we have Alibaba Clouder voucher with this session. So those who or any of your friend does it, complete this session, recorded session from any of our channel, YouTube, Facebook, or um, mostly YouTube or Facebook, recording would be available right away because it's already streaming. we'll anyway upload a clear recording in a day or two, but at least the current recording is already available on our FB channel and YouTube channel and different groups, which are probably our cloud user group that we have. And once you do that, and once you get the certificate until Wednesday, this Wednesday, and share it onto your social media, primarily Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, our system will automatically count you for the voucher for this event and will automatically send you the voucher. You can also, like, if you need to get the voucher fast, you can simply share the link and then ping us on our Telegram channel one-to-one. There is a Multicloud on the Telegram channel, and we'll immediately be able to give you the voucher in
Yeah.
another 24 hours. I mean.
Okay. Actually, Hemant is asking, can you send out the presentation link?
So,
I think,
so
yeah,
it's through uh, just give me a moment. So it's through our platform, and presentation are partially not like we do not share the presentation directly because that has an investment in it. We'll send you the detail where from where you can get access to the event data, especially presentation and video book, and there may be a small charge for it. But the event is free, the recording is free. You can
so
go and watch the
yeah,
recording of the event, and also you can claim certificate and all, and the voucher from directly from Alibaba Cloud for cloud certification.
okay. Yeah, I think. Sure. Thanks. Session code. Okay, so let me announce one more time. You go to the fifthir.com and the session code is ABC Alibaba Cloud and G for gold. ABCG, all capital. Yeah. If you have still not got it, then you need to watch recordings and or you can contact to our Telegram channel. Yeah. Okay. So I think if not any further questions, then maybe we can say thank you, everyone. Good night. I would say thank you,
And
Anjani.
yeah.
Yeah,
And obviously, we'll get the Clouder voucher as soon as you share your certificate on
correct. So
either social media, in Twitter. You can directly send the Twitter or like whatever the sharing link that you have done, a one-to-one or Telegram channel. Can you ping the Telegram channel also?
yeah, I ping the Telegram channel. Let me ping one more time. So you just go ahead here and then this is
Yes.
the channel, right?
Yeah, copy paste
I'm
there.
just bringing just putting in the chat window. So you can just go and subscribe to the Telegram channel. You can ask any questions or you can just
Yeah.
wait for that Clouders vouchers, like that one which will be generated. Yeah,
So we distribute ideally every Thursday, and
we need to say,
for monthly event on every 15th of month.
yeah. So Hemant is asking another question. Do we need to share the screenshot of the sharing this certificate? So I think I'll
So,
answer first. And
um,
yeah, you got it.
uh,
Good.
so best is that like Mritunjay, you have any certificate link handy?
Uh,
You
that
might want,
let
right? I have I have one sample certificate link handy.
uh, do,
Let
do-
me
yeah, just
send
ping it
it
here.
to
So yeah,
yeah.
just
So
ping in the chat
there
window.
is a sharing option available. You can show if you can show it.
Yeah, thanks, Vikash. And yeah, actually, so the best way is to, instead of sharing the image, I
No,
would
that is the
say
only
it's
way
like the link.
because it's automated, because it's community, right? We have all other jobs also. We cannot count how many people do it. So we have already automated it. So
The
if you can click
image,
that link, Mritunjay, sorry.
This one, right?
Yeah. So it becomes automated, and we don't have to bother about neither you or us. Whatever the system counts and find out whosoever has shared, we automatically
Yeah.
assign the function to them.
Yeah. So this is one of the kind of a demo certificate kind of. So this is, see, it's generated to me only. And okay, so you can just go here and you can have all the channels, so where you want to share. You want mostly on the LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you want social media, especially. You can just click here and it will automatically open the sharing button, right? And share in a post, and you can go and write something, whatever. And if you want, you can just put hashtag multi-cloud for you. Multi-cloud for you. Yeah, you can just add multi-cloud for you and maybe hashtag fifth IR, right? And then from there, it will automatically read, our system will read that, okay, you have shared this certificate, including, don't forget to, include the hashtags as well. And if you want to include, then you want multi-cloud for you technology. I think multi-cloud, yeah, multi-cloud for you technology. So you can write whatever you want, you can write, and then you can just post. So that will do. That's one of the way to share. The same way you can do for the Facebook, I think. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the same way you can go on the Facebook, and I'm not opening in the Facebook. Okay, so yeah, the same way you can do there. I think, yeah, okay, thanks, thanks Hemant, thanks Vikash, yeah. So I think, Anjani, we are done. Almost we answered all the pop-up questions, whatever we have.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you guys, everyone, and thanks for joining this session. And hope you maybe see you in the next session uh, of the multi-cloud for you. Okay. Till then, good night. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye bye.